Hey, a great Tuesday evening. It is a beautiful evening in the city of Brownsville, Texas, and Rancho Viejo too. And let me show you that last night I had a mess load of technical difficulty. Something that Angela and I were talking about in regards to technical difficulty. This is one of the reasons why we could not do the show last night. Get to the house because we're doing the shows from the house now at night. Get to the house and there's no internet. And I'm going like, it can't be happening to me. So I go and I do the troubleshooting that you usually do in order to get the internet back on or the cable back on. You go and unplug it, leave it unplugged for like 15 seconds, plug it back in, and then you're supposed to get some internet back on and some cable. Didn't work. I contacted the cable company and they said, she was so funny. I know she was an African American lady because, just that tone in her voice. She goes like, "Oh, dearie, there's a big problem there." I'm going like, "What are you telling me, girl?" I mean, I'm stuck here. I'm about to do a show and I can't get anything to work. She goes, "I'm so sorry. Won't be till Wednesday." Like I said, that's not gonna work. Like, I need internet and cable at the house. So they upscaled the whatever, and they sure enough came today, and they did a good job. They put everything back to where it's supposed to be. So
Very good.
yeah, so thank y'all for being patient with me last night. I think we had an amazing show this morning. Uh, well, we did have an amazing show this morning. Oh, Susan Rubalcaba was on, and there were some kind of topics out there that we wanted. Individuals had asked on, and we touched on. So if y'all didn't see this morning's show, it really is a good one. Did talk about the issue going on right now with our first responders here locally, and their dealings with insurance and with a retirement plan. So it was a good show. So if anyone has time tomorrow, please just or later on tonight, if you get bored, turn on the show. It's a good show. Watch it on YouTube because that sometimes gives us money. But tonight we
What?
do have
Say what?
watch it on YouTube because that generates funds our way.
Oh, I didn't know that.
It's not a lot. Actually, it's gone down to like 40, 30, 40 bucks a month. But hey, to get
Still.
it's a gas half a gas tank with the price of gas the way it is right now. Tonight we have Ann Nix on. Ann Nix is the best attorney in Brownsville, Texas, and I would dare say probably the state of Texas. And uh, very very close friend to us, and more like family. And we're glad you're on tonight, Ann.
I appreciate your allowing me to come on, Erasmo. I really do. I dare say I am not the best attorney.
She
And
is.
there are many fine attorneys in Cameron County and
A
across
lot.
the state.
No, she is. She's the best. I know for a fact. Good evening. Good evening. And I say that, because I've been to different cases throughout there. And one of the things that I appreciate about Anne in the courtroom is like she's like a bulldog in there. And like everyone like steps a little bit to the side, and like, oh, here she comes. And I've gotten to the point where I could read real well body language and stuttering fudge at times. And yeah, anyone that's going up against and gets a little bit on the stuttering side and tends to pull a little bit back when she's
Oh,
tries
please.
to- it's fun to watch.
I'm a tad aggressive, probably more so than I quite often ought to be.
No, it's good. It's good because let me tell you one of the things that I think that uh, folk here locally want. They want a fighter. They don't want someone that's going to bend over and take it from from an opposition. You want to find someone that is going to go out there and fight for their clients. And I think that is the definition for Ann Nix if she was to be found in any dictionary out there.
I
So,
think they just mostly want to be heard. People want to be heard.
yeah.
And
Well,
I
actually,
try to make sure that they at least get that opportunity.
it's amazing because I had an interview with podcast earlier this evening, actually. And that's one of the things that we basically, agreed. We were talking, we were going back and forth, and it's Muñecas podcast. It'll be out next week. She did let me do a live, so it's on my page, and great, great. But one of the things that Muñeca works on is empowering individuals in the community, and being a voice for a lot of the folks out there. And one of the things that we touched on is back in the heyday when we were starting off this page and everything. More than anything, it was to give individuals a voice, individuals who, could not or would not publicly go out there and say what was on their mind. They need individuals like Erasmo Castro or Ann Nix who don't hesitate too much to say what's on their mind when it comes to individuals getting hurt in our community. So it was good. Good evening, good evening, good evening. Let's get to the comments. Good evening, and
Hi, Frankie.
good evening, Mr. Castro and Miss Nix. Yes, it was a great. It was a great show this morning. It was really good. Good morning, good evening, Angela. Thanks for having us on your show. Oh, she could probably do a full show, a complete show all by herself. So yeah, I see where you're going at. Angela Nix, great attorney. She was my attorney.
Oh, thank you, Lupita. Thank you.
Looking forward to tonight's show. I also saw you on the Muñeca show. Who is that? And yes, mistakes. He is always praising you, showing off about having the best attorney. My hat's off to you, man. Thank you
Thank
too.
you, Miss Lamas. I think Erasmo, to be fair, has several, attorneys, and I'm merely one. But thank you, thank you, thank you.
She is my lead attorney. Takes a lot to impress it. Also, aggressive is a good thing. I like aggressive. I appreciate your strength. I need that. It helps me a lot. Yes. And again, I appreciate Lupita sharing that about Anne. And I would say that there's hundreds, if not thousands, of other individuals out there that could easily say the same.
Oh golly, you're making me blush. Quit.
How's it coming along? Uh, Let me say, we'll go with that. We still haven't gotten any other information, and El Gato Negro is referring to the civil lawsuit that was filed against PUB and Brugiac. And what they did, and will probably be able to speak more on this because what they did, they requested a jury trial. A jury trial? Is that right, Anne?
I I'm not sure. I
This is
quite honestly, you kind of taken me by surprise. They may have, and that certainly slowed things down because a jury's going to take longer to get to than a
yeah,
bench trial would.
but I think it's going to be good for us, and because well, again, you're this, but because it gives us more time, and it shows. First of all, I was amazed that PUB would even want to go to a jury trial. I would think that they would have
Well,
rather.
they may be lining up a transfer of venue, Erasmus. So
Well,
keep that in the back of your mind.
what would the transfer of venue actually
Well,
do?
that they can't get a fair trial because the jury pool would be contaminated by PUB users who have also been damaged.
Yes,
So, you
but
know, that may be the whole basis. Whereas I don't know that they'd have that argument with a bench trial. So, you
but
know,
I wonder.
that could be a motivating factor.
But I wonder. I mean, you could probably go anywhere in the United. You could probably request to get transferred anywhere in the United States. With everything that's going on right now in regards
Kind
to
of needs to be Texas.
yeah, well, anywhere in Texas, a- anywhere you go, individuals are being affected by our economy, by what's happening. With gas prices, rent, and different other social issues going on. There's a big problem here in the city of Brownsville with a lot of homeless folk, and I've seen it increase in the 10, 12 years that I've been doing Erasmo Cast around here. I've seen an increase with different uh, ethnic ethnicities, different groups, cultural groups coming down and being part of our homeless population here locally. And it's an issue that needs to be tackled by the next mayor of the city of Brownsville, which should be Erasmo Castro. But one of the other big issues that we have in regards to everything that's going on is our foster kids uh, here locally. And
And I appreciate that, Erasmo, and that introduction, and that's what I at least wanted to talk about.
yeah,
Um, so I've been working in and around Child Protective Services. Good evening, Miss Dutton. For plus 30 years, and it's something that's very near and dear to my heart. Children, I firmly believe they are the planet's best natural resource, and we don't do nearly enough for them. Um, and Cameron County is completely deficient in foster homes and foster parents. And I'm hoping that your listeners will find it in their hearts to enter into the foster program to become foster parents. That maybe there are folks out there who are listening uh, tonight who have time and room in their hearts for children in need, because we have a great many children in need. Right now, we have in excess of 300 foster kids in Cameron County alone. And although I requested numbers from their attorney, I haven't yet received any as of showtime. But I would venture to guess that we have 1/3 or more of that number placed out of county in facilities or foster homes far away in Dallas, San Antonio. The nearest is Corpus Christi and the ARC facility over there, but they only have 61 beds. Um, and so there's not enough, and we need it
Well,
bad, desperately.
let me say, you mentioned there's a deficiency here in Cameron County. Now, is are there programs in place uh, via the county that help to promote the program suffice or enough in order to get more individuals to care for these 300 and some children that are in need of foster care?
And unfortunately, I don't know that there has been any per se program or marketing. um I'm not aware of any, quite frankly.
So we need more.
We do.
One of the things that I think I think I've been fighting the county regularly, and even the city, is that we need more resources in order to make more individuals out there aware of the greater needs that exist here. One of the things that you started off saying was, and I agree with you 100%, our children are our number one resource for everything, and our focus should be to leave something better for them. I think we need to bring more awareness, and this is one of the reasons why I'm so glad that you wanted to come on tonight. We need to bring more awareness, and local politicians need to get their heads out of their butts and focus on that which is our should be our number one concern and the number one care. It is for the weakest amongst us, which include our children, also the elderly, and also the individuals with special needs. But our children need to be taken care of. What type of resources uh, are there currently in place to help out these children and attorneys who are fighting for them?
I mean, we have Sunny Glen Children's Home that helps tremendously. And we have some individual foster care homes who do their best, but they're limited in size, and they don't always have room for a large sibling group. And we have sibling groups of 6 or 8 that we have to divide up between 3 or 4 homes, because the homes are only licensed for 1 or 2 children. We could use some group facilities, quite frankly, Erasmo. Some multi-bed homes um, that can house multiple children. Uh, and I urged um, the local women's law section to undertake it as a project. um, I'll get behind it 100% personally, and do anything I can, from fundraising to calls to you name it. I put out a call for a grant writer, And again, maybe one of your listeners has extra time and experience at grant writing. I unfortunately am not acquainted with anyone since Ruth Hunter, that used to run Good Neighbor Settlement Home, passed away years back. She was the last grant writer that I knew or was acquainted with, but you might know someone. Erasmo, point them my way. I'll talk them into it.
I have a couple of actually of individuals that I know that they excel in grant writing. I will. I'll contact them tomorrow.
Thank
One of the things that you mentioned that and you mentioned again in regards to dividing these groups where there's six or eight in siblings or individuals in a group that have to be split up within the homes. That is concerning. That should be a concerning suffice. But what really concerns me is removing children from this area and having to send them to places like Austin, San Antonio, or even Corpus, so far away from our culture and so far away from anyone that they may consider family-based family unit down here.
And
Uh,
although there are some parents out there, Erasmo, who um, get so wrapped up in the job of life that they don't focus on their kids. I think that the majority of parents, the ability to see their kids, and not just on a computer monitor, really helps with their recovery and putting their lives back together again. I think it's a really important and strong incentive for a great many. And when they're placed in San Antonio and you can't see them and you can't visit them and you can't take them to the park, it it's depressing for
detrimental,
those parents and those families.
very detrimental.
Very.
Very detrimental in regards to recovery, which is I think a word that you use. Speaking about recovery, what are some of the reasons, and not to speak specifically, some of the reasons why children are removed from the parental units or individuals and placed into foster care?
Unfortunately, I think that the majority is in fact either substance abuse or alcohol abuse. Quite frankly, although I haven't looked at the numbers, and I'm sure incidence of domestic violence is also high, but I think a lot of times when you have a domestic violence issue in a relationship, it is due to or occurring at the same time as substance abuse and or alcohol abuse.
Well, two questions. First of all, in regards to the rule, and the first one is based on the family unit. One of the things that I've been fighting against here locally is the lack of economic development, because we have different situations where individuals, they can't make a living. So a lot of folks tend to fall into these depressive states and fall into trying to find escape, fall into the alcoholism and drug use and all these other things. Uh, is that part of the equation? Is everything that's happening to us here locally in regards to a lack of economic development, individuals not producing those good paying jobs for individuals, have an effect on individuals opting to go south?
I'm sure in large part it is.
And my other question is in regards to what is the process? Uh, it has to happen for the state to take action in regards to removing a child from home?
Well, and unfortunately, there are cracks in the system, and there are incidences where uh, the different procedures aren't followed. Ideally, ideally, a parent is given. Excuse me.
It's okay.
Ideally, a parent is given an opportunity to place a child being removed with a relative. Um, Unfortunately, there aren't always relatives available, and Sometimes we have children without placement options and no foster care, and those are the sad, unfortunate incidences where a child might be in a CPS office overnight with a couple of caseworkers. Those are children without placement, or they'll rent a hotel room if need be, because we have incidences where we have nowhere to put them and we can't transport them to a faraway placement.
No, you mentioned domestic violence, alcohol abuse, drug abuse. One of the things that came out here locally in the city of Brownsville is that we are the 16th safest city in the country, which I tend to believe the numbers are a little bit askew and not factual, because there is a lot of different type of crime out there that doesn't get reported to law enforcement, which keeps their numbers down. But I think one of the things that I think most folks here could agree is that we have issues. We have issues in regards to uh, the number of crimes that happen, that occur, that do not get reported. Is that the case with a lot of these individuals that fall through the cracks, where there's issues at home that don't necessarily get reported?
Sure.
And we have a
And,
great
and I see that in my family law practice.
and we have a greater need for more resources in order to reaching out to the different individuals who may be harmed in the process. Let me ask you: are there many children that have been included or been added to the foster care need rosters that are coming from across, crossing the border and seeking asylum or seeking home? Are there many of these kids included in the foster care roster lists?
Not in my experience, Erasmo. I'm not sure about the other CPS attorneys, and we have maybe 10 total. Um, we used to get higher numbers, I think pre-COVID,
Yeah.
and the department would file for something called special juvenile immigrant status for those children as part of the process, which was a really good thing. Um, and I haven't seen any of those in the last couple of years.
Well, I think maybe one of the reasons why it's slowed down a little bit is because there's so many federal programs right now that are moving up the kids up to other states up in the north, which
Judging from the folks that I talked to that work with Southwest Keys that are accompanying them, I agree.
what's the process and requirements to become a foster parent?
Honestly, Frankie, I do not know. I know that there is a local hotline that you call, and then they get back to you and set you up with their process.
So right now, one of the things that is most and greatly needed in Cameron County in our area is for people to step up, open their homes, open their hearts, and sign up for the foster program.
Yes, sir.
Uh, for individuals to have a clear understanding in regards to responsibilities, there is a group called CASA. What is your experience with the CASA group? I think, and again, you have worked with them a lot more. Are these individuals that are trained to stand with the children during their court cases, but not necessarily fostering them into their homes?
Um, yes, and I think perhaps even more than that. So, CASA is the abbreviation or whatever for Court Appointed Special Advocates, and they do go through a multi-week training process. Um, and they are the voice of the child in court, along with the guardian ad litem and the attorney ad litem for the child. Um, they make school visits and placement visits, and I think they give a unique, non lawyerly uh, perspective on things, and are quite often very helpful. Um, recently, since going back live in Child Protective Services Court in January, we've had a wonderful new addition brought on by CASA. His name is Forrest, and he's the most wonderful black Labrador you've ever seen. And I have a very hard time not getting a Forrest fix whenever he's brought to court. And he's a therapy dog that they keep for the children to sometimes distract them from court if it seems like they're stressed or depressed or anxious. And he's just absolutely wonderful. Of course, he's not very lively in court, and his handler tells me that's because he's a therapy dog, and he knows that he has to be extremely subdued in the courtroom. So he's kind of like a rug in there, although he will give me the most wonderful spearmint smelling kisses. And I am terribly enamored of him right now.
I think I read up on him a little bit, and I mean, it just came to my memory once you mentioned it. I think that's the kind of marketing that we need here in regards to getting more individuals involved in casa, and maybe yeah, get them more involved in the fostering kid program because those are great.
Anybody interested, I would urge come down, observe CPS, and some of these kids. It will open your heartstrings. It really will.
I am planning to do a little bit more research on it. I'm not committing to anything yet, but I do plan to look into it some. It would be interesting. Actually,
Awesome.
it'd be interesting. So I am going to look into both actually, CASA and the CBS fostering program. More than anything, hopefully to bring more awareness into what individuals could do out there for our children. So
Thank you, dear.
appreciate that. Let me say, going back into economic development, we need something a little bit different. One of the things that I shared is a lot of times people seem to think, well, we're always talking about the negatives going on in Brownsville and or here locally, and it's not that we want to focus on the negatives. It's just we want a pool of ideas in regards to individuals coming up with solutions as to how we could fix this, how we could fix this as a community. A lot of us believe that our local elected officials, the individuals that have the opportunity or they have their hands on a lot of the resources that should go to the people of Brownsville, have misused these resources and have placed their direction towards special interests instead of what is should be most needed, and that is taking care of the weakest amongst us. So I'm hoping that in due time we can continue to address these matters. We don't
Thank
have.
you for continuing to champion the weakest, Erasmo.
I
Thank
love it. I love it. I had a good teacher, and Nick's. But I'm hoping that more individuals become involved and don't go in blindly when it comes to different situations that happen here in the city of Brownsville or here in Cameron County. Get informed. Get the information. As Ann mentioned, straight from CASA, straight from CPS, and the different fostering groups out there. Get the information, get the numbers, get the facts, and be a part of the solution, and not only someone that calls out stuff happens.
you. Absolutely. Woohoo.
But I am running for mayor of the city of Brownsville, Ann,
Yes, you are.
and I've stated that this is going to be my final race for office. I think that this will be it. I did a full circle. I started off running for mayor of the city of Brownsville 8 years ago, and it's time to close that door and see what other opportunities are out there for us. Saying that, one of the things that Anne mentioned, everyone out there has an opportunity to serve, has an opportunity, to give a little bit of themselves, a little time here or there, in order to be that positive seed that needs to be buried in our community garden. Whereas, you may not see the immediate results right now, but in the long haul, you'll see that beautiful tree you'll see that beautiful forest, or at least the community will. And one of the things that I think we need to really refocus on is leaving a better Brownsville, a better Cameron County for those individuals that come next. Because a lot of us are, we're getting older and uh, hopefully a little bit more wiser. Uh, I know for some of us, we're just getting more handsome and more attractive, like Angela. We're like wine and cheese. We age very, very well.
You were
But
doing so good there for a minute. You're absolutely poetic.
but I do want individuals just to focus on the real reason why a lot of us scream, a lot of us yell, a lot of us stomp around sometimes. It's just we would just want something better. Just want something better for our community now, and for the community in the future. So, thank you, Ann.
Thank you, Erasmo. I appreciate it.
We're gonna do a little bit of politics. You want to stick around for our politics talk?
Nope,
Oh,
nope. I try to stay as far away from politics as possible, with the exception of your races, dear.
I appreciate that. Well, thank you for coming on. Have a great, great evening, and we got to do lunch sometime very soon.
Yes, we do. Yes, we do.
Love you.
Thank you again. Love you dearly.
Love you.
Mwah.
Bye. And that was Ann Nixon. I appreciate everyone. Again, I love these causes that champion helping out the most vulnerable amongst us, and that they are our children. I did want to speak a little bit about our show today, this morning, and it was just a very, very important. Guys, we need to continue to fight together in order to make sure that we are kept safe. One of the things that we had made mention was the great need that exists in order to keeping that section, that group of folks out there that work so tirelessly to keep us safe. And that is our local law enforcement out there. And that is, folks, you're always asked to put what your platform is. And on my platform, guys, one of the first things that I want to do as mayor of the city of Brownsville is wipe clean all these boards and committees, especially PUB, GBEC, BCIC, and the Housing Authority Board. I want to wipe them all, but all of them. All of them need to be restructured. Some of them need to be done away with. And a lot of these individuals, they get regurgitated from one position, one board to another board. Oh, we need to do away with. Look, guys, today Arturo Trevino put up a post in regards to they're so dead set, guys, on keeping the reins of power amongst themselves, guys, that we have a sitting commissioner who is a candidate for mayor of the city of Brownsville who refuses to get off the GBEC board. And what most folks in the city of Brownsville need to understand, guys, is that it is an insult to this community that this individual thinks mega highly of himself to the point where he thinks he's the only one that could do the job, that could distribute, move around your tax dollars, guys. A city commissioner should never have that responsibility, should never be placed on such a board. And actually, that's exactly what the charter was trying to avoid when it included a lot of verbiage to keep these individuals off. They refused to. They refused to relinquish their seat, guys. Out of 300,000 individuals that live here in the city of Brownsville, do we really need a John Cowan, a Linda Macias, Brian Martinez, guys, on one of our on multiple boards and committees throughout the city of Brownsville? It makes absolutely no sense. John Cowan, Linda Macias, and Brian Martinez need to immediately relinquish any seat that they currently hold on any board and committees. But they won't. They won't, because it is the status that gives them the opportunity, folks, to continue to funnel monies away from the people of Brownsville and into the pocket of the corrupt political machine here. It also serves, guys, for them to be able to run for office currently. Look, guys, just very, very clear. I'm not running this race with a lot of money. I'm going to spend a very, very little on this race. If we are so fortunate to make it into the runoff, guys, I've committed to spend a little bit more of my own money in order to clinch the seat for mayor of the city of Brownsville. I pray which is not going to happen, but I pray that I could win this race without having to go into a runoff. That would be wonderful. That solely depends on you, the people of Brownsville. Number one priority, wipe clean every single board and committee out there. Number two, guys, focus on our local law enforcement, guys. Our individuals out there that are keeping us safe, EMTs, fire department, our police officers, guys, they are underfunded, they are understaffed, underpaid. Uh, we don't have the necessary equipment to continue to keep us safe. We recently got a couple more ambulances. It's still not enough, guys. We need more, more, more money placed in that, which is ultimately going to keep our citizens here locally safe from anything that could come our way. My third platform, guy, my first third topic, guys, has to do with bringing the resources back to the city of Brownsville, guys. And one of the things that I appreciate from a lot of the conversations that we've had here locally, actually, it was during Frankie's show, was in regards to bringing uh, different ethnical culture events down here that are going to benefit the city of Brownsville ultimately as a whole, uh, not compared to the different pet projects that have been shoved down our throat. Guys, we need something different. We need true change out there. And I'm hoping that individuals do not forget that these individuals that are currently seeking to become the mayor of the city of Brownsville were the ones that placed us through this Tenaska predicament, were the ones that were constantly going out there and increasing our rates, guys, voting for every single increase that came before them while they were serving on the city commission. Giving these more monies, will that include raising our taxes? Well, what's funny is the way that these individuals go out there and they change the verbiage, guys. Because one of the constant claims for someone that is seeking reelection is, oh, we're going to lower your taxes. I always shared with you how they get away with pocketing the money that should go to the people of Brownsville, and that is by increasing the appraised value of their property. To whereas at the end of the day, we're paying more. It doesn't much matter how much they lower the rates. The information presented by mistakes. Angela Next is amazing. Um, Let me say, guys, I am not opposed to the money that's going to GBEC, not opposed to the money that's going to BCIC, folks, which is coming out of your tax dollars. I am opposed to these individuals having their hands on everything that ails and hurts the citizens of Brownsville. And again, call us negative, call us individuals that like to stomp around and fight. Guys, when we come together we can find a solution to those things that continue to ail us as a community. It is only in that pool of ideas, that brainstorming that we could do together, guys, that we will be able to turn the page on all these years of detrimental decisions, of thievery, of greasing wheels, guys, and putting the money back into the people of Brownsville. Um, I had a conversation today with Muñeca Muñeca's podcast. Uh, great show. Again, it's on the page. You could listen to it. I'm hoping that a lot of our Spanish audience has has the time to hear us out, guys. And coming together, empowering individuals, folks, to become a part of the process, of the electoral process, is essential. And the only way that it's going to work is if we all unite and work together. It's the only way. Look, guys, you can people out there can accuse me of hell and a half, anything that they want to or can imagine. I've never taken from you. I've never stolen from you, and I never will. Thanks for sharing your platform points. For those new to the show, it's great information when the show is shared. More citizens constitute get informed about what's going on. What are the issues? 100%. What solutions you bring to the table, Pastor Romero? Um, Guys, we are closely approaching Yeah, and hit the like button on YouTube, guys. We're closely approaching a month away from the start of early voting. We're going to have some Fords out there. We're going to have some meet and greets and some, hopefully, some debates. I will do my best to share with you, the citizens of Brownsville, every single one of them, guys. I am anxiously awaiting to meet up with my opponents and to call them out face to face on how they've hurt the people of Brownsville, how they've hurt our community, how they've continued to take away from the weakest, the poorest amongst us, guys. Hit the like button, please. Yes, guys. My 40 minutes are up. Where, when, or what are you block walking? This coming week. I've been struggling to get promotional material. I've got push cards already. I've got a couple of signs left, tarps. I've got cups, and I do have window decals still. So, guys, and as soon as those run out, I plan to get some more. So please stop by my office, pick up some stuff, guys, and show your support. If you could help us with block walking, we could start setting up next week so we can all join. Thank you. I will set up a schedule for next week. Guys, I appreciate your time. We'll be back on tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. I think Roman might come on. See what happens. Great having Ann tonight. Great to have internet this evening. Thank you for being patient with me. I love you all. Uh, I love my community. And I think that together we could turn around and bring Brownsville back to where it was back in the heyday, that shining star, that shining light on top of a hill. Guys, God bless us. Take care. See you tomorrow morning at 9 o'clock in the morning, guys. Be good to each other. Continue to be good to me.